The military hospital's emergency wing is silent, except for the hum of ventilators. A young nurse in fresh scrubs wheels a supply cart down the corridor, her movements careful, almost hesitant. The Marines in the waiting room don't look at her. She's just another rookie, barely 3 weeks on the job. Then the power cuts. Emergency lights bathe everything in red. The front entrance explodes inward. Glass, smoke, gunfire. Armed men in black tactical gear pour through. The Marines scramble for weapons they don't have. The rookie nurse doesn't run. She doesn't scream. She sets down the cart, rolls her shoulders once, and her eyes go cold. They didn't know, but they're about to. The military hospital was quiet at 2200 hours. Lieutenant Maya Torres pushed a supply cart down the east corridor of the critical care wing. She wore navy blue scrubs that looked too big on her slender frame, dark hair pulled back in a regulation bun. Her ID badge read, Torres, Maya, RN, new hire, 3 weeks. That's how long she'd been here. 3 weeks of being treated like she didn't know a scalpel from a stethoscope. She checked on Staff Sergeant Ramirez in room 7. Combat injuries from Kandahar, stable but critical. Her hands moved with quiet efficiency. Pulse strong. Oxygen good. IV clear. In the hallway, 2 young Marines sat in the waiting area. When she passed, one nudged the other. That's the new one. 3 weeks and she still looks lost. Yeah. Heard. She couldn't even start an IV yesterday. Took her 4 tries. Maya heard them. She always heard them. She kept walking, face blank, stride steady. Let them think what they wanted. Lieutenant Commander Frost, the senior nurse, didn't look up from her computer. Torres, restock the crash carts. Check medroom inventory by 0600. Yes, ma'am. No one ever talked to Maya. She was the outsider, the rookie, the one who didn't fit. She didn't mind. Fitting in wasn't the mission. In the supply room, Maya restocked methodically. She'd memorized this hospital within 48 hours. Every exit, every stairwell, every blind spot in the security cameras. As she reached for supplies, her sleeve rode up slightly, revealing the edge of a tattoo on her forearm. A trident over an anchor. The Budweiser, the insignia of a Navy SEAL. She pulled her sleeve down and kept working. Maya had been a SEAL for 6 years. 4 deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Somalia. Operations that didn't exist on paper. Shot twice. Nearly drowned once. More confirmed kills than she cared to count. 8 months ago, Naval Special Warfare Command reassigned her. There was a leak, classified intelligence getting out from inside this military hospital. Someone with access to high-value patients was selling information. NCIS couldn't pin it down. They needed someone on the inside, someone who could blend in, someone no one would suspect. So they sent Maya. She'd been watching, listening. 3 weeks of observation had narrowed 12 suspects down to 4. Tonight, one of them was on duty. Petty Officer First Class Derek Haynes, Navy corpsman with gambling debts. He had access to everything, ICU, patient files, secure communications. 2 nights ago, she'd seen him in the parking lot talking to someone in a black sedan. Haynes looked scared. The man in the sedan looked calm. Tonight, Haynes was working the ICU. Maya finished inventory and walked back into the corridor. Something felt wrong. Not loud wrong, just off. The hospital was too quiet. The Marines were asleep now. No movement except the hum of ventilators and distant monitor beeps. Her hand moved to her pocket, a small encrypted radio she'd brought herself. She pressed the transmit button twice, 2 clicks. No response came back. That was expected unless there was an emergency. She turned toward the ICU and saw Haynes outside room 12, staring at the door. His jaw was tight, his hand shaking. Haynes. He flinched. Torres. What are you doing here? Restocking supplies. You okay? I'm fine. Just long shift. Maya nodded, watching him. Haynes shifted, glanced at room 12, then back at her. You should get back to your rounds. She walked past, scanning everything. Room 12, new patient. She'd check the records later. At the window, she paused. Outside, the parking lot was mostly empty. Then she saw it, the black sedan near the service entrance. Same license plate from 2 nights ago. Maya pressed her radio 3 times. Emergency signal. 1 click came back. Acknowledged. She walked back toward the ICU, body language unchanged, but inside, every nerve was alive. Something was coming. Maya was halfway back when the lights went out. 3 full seconds of darkness. Then emergency. Lighting kicked in, red bulbs casting everything in crimson. She stopped, listened. The ventilators hummed, backup generators engaged. But something else was wrong. The ambient noise had changed. No conversations, no footsteps, just silence. Then a vehicle engine near the entrance, a deep thud. Another. The crack of an explosion, controlled, sharp, breaching charge. Frost was at the nurse's station, phone to her ear. I don't know what happened. I need engineering. She stopped mid-sentence. Maya heard it too. The unmistakable sound of gunfire, short bursts. Automatic weapons, professional. Maya was already moving, not toward the sound, toward the supply closet near the east stairwell. Behind her, Frost shouted for security. The Marines jolted awake. Screams from the lobby. Maya shoved the supply, closet door open. She moved to the back corner, pulled aside a box labeled linens, and pried up a loose floor panel. Her hand closed around cold steel. A SIG Sauer P226 with suppressor, 3 magazines. She'd stashed it 2 weeks ago. She checked the chamber, loaded a magazine in 2 seconds. The weight felt like coming home. She tucked the weapon in her waistband, grabbed a trauma kit with combat gauze and tourniquets, and moved back into the corridor. The gunfire was closer now. Multiple pairs of boots. Tactical entry. They were here, for something specific. Maya moved toward the sound, not away. Her breathing slowed, her vision sharpened. She wasn't a nurse anymore. She was an operator. She reached the junction and pressed flat against the wall. 20 meters ahead, the lobby was chaos. Smoke hung in the air. The entrance blown open, glass and metal scattered everywhere. 6 men in black tactical gear moved in wedge formation. Full kit. Plate carriers, helmets, SCAR rifles. Professional training, not amateurs. Mercenaries. One barked orders in Russian-accented English. ICU, 2nd floor, go, go, go. They were heading for the stairwell, to room 12. Maya's jaw tightened. Haynes had sold someone out. She moved quickly down the east corridor, passing 2 terrified staff members. Get to the basement. Lock the doors. Don't come out until you hear all clear. She took the east stairwell 2 at a time. The attackers would use the main stairwell, wider, faster. That gave her 90 seconds. She hit the 2nd floor. The critical care wing stretched ahead, bathed in red. 2 Marines stood near the ICU entrance. Young, early 20s, one limping, the other favoring his left arm, both unarmed. Patients. Not guards. Hey, you need to get out of here, one called. They're shooting. I know. How many exits on this floor? The Marine blinked. What? Exits. How many? 2. Main stairwell and service stairs on the west side. Any weapons? Security locker? No, this is a hospital. Then get in a room and stay down. The Marine frowned. Who the hell are you? Maya heard boots on the stairwell. Multiple contacts. Coming fast. She saw Haynes in the doorway of room 12, pale and sweating. Torres, get inside, lock the door. I didn't know they were going to. Inside, now. Haynes stumbled back and slammed the door. Maya turned to the Marines. Get behind the nurse's station. Stay low. The stairwell door exploded open. 3 men burst through, rifles up. The lead man saw the Marines and swung his weapon toward them. Maya moved without thinking. She drew her SIG and fired twice, suppressed. 2 soft coughs. The lead attacker dropped center mass. Both rounds, the other 2 spun toward her. Maya sidestepped left, using the corner for cover. 1 fired, a burst that tore chunks from the wall. Maya dropped to one knee, leaned out, fired again. 3 rounds. The second attacker went down. The third retreated into the stairwell, shouting in Russian. "Jesus Christ!" one Marine whispered. Maya kept her eyes on the door. "I said get behind the station. They moved fast." Maya advanced toward the stairwell, weapon leading. She could hear voices below, at least 3 more. They were regrouping. She had maybe 30 seconds. She checked the fallen attackers. Both dead. She pulled a magazine from one plate carrier, grabbed a SCAR rifle, and slung it over her shoulder. She turned to the Marines, who stared at her like she'd grown a second head. "Who the hell are you?" Maya ignored the question. "How many patients in the ICU? 4, maybe 5? Any ambulatory? No, all critical." Maya nodded. She couldn't evacuate them. She had to hold this floor. The ICU had 1 main entrance and 1 service door, to the west stairwell. If they were smart, they'd split up and hit both. She couldn't cover both alone. "What are your names?" "Lance Corporal Vega, Private First Class Chen." "Vega, Chen. You're Marines. You know how to follow orders. Yes or no?" Both nodded. "Good." Maya handed Vega the SCAR. "You know how to use this?" Vega checked the chamber. "Yeah. Chen, fire extinguisher on the wall near room 9. Get it, if anyone comes through that. Service door. You blind them and Vega puts them down. Understand?" Chen swallowed hard. "You want us to fight? I want you to stay alive. And the only way you do that is if we hold this floor until reinforcements arrive. You with me?" Vega looked at Chen. Chen looked back. Both nodded. "Good." Maya turned toward the stairwell, raised her SIG, steadied her breathing. Behind her, Vega spoke quietly. "Who are you?" Maya didn't turn around. "Someone who's really tired of being underestimated." The stairwell door burst open. 2 attackers came through low and fast, rifles sweeping in overlapping fields. Professional entry. But Maya had repositioned against the wall adjacent to the door outside their scan zone. The first cleared left, the second pivoted right. Maya grabbed his rifle barrel, shoved it upward, drove her elbow into his throat. He gagged, stumbled into his partner. The first tried to swing his weapon around. Maya was already inside his range. Palm heel to jaw, knee to solar plexus. He dropped. The second recovered, swung his rifle stock at her head. Maya ducked, drew her SIG, 2-round center mass. He collapsed. Silence. Maya stood over them, breathing controlled, weapon raised. 3 seconds, no more movement. She glanced back. Vega and Chen pressed against the nurse's station, eyes wide. She checked the stairwell. Empty. But voices below, angry, urgent. They were reassessing. She'd dropped 4 in under 2 minutes. They knew now they weren't dealing with hospital staff. She closed the door, dragged a body in front of it. Not a barricade, just an obstacle. Chen. Service door. Now. Chen grabbed the fire extinguisher and moved west. Vega stayed at the station, SCAR aimed at the stairwell. His hands steadier now. Combat focus setting in. Maya moved to the ICU entrance. 4 beds occupied, 3 unconscious on ventilators. The 4th awake, a young corporal with both legs, in casts. "What's happening?" "Stay in your bed. Don't move unless I tell you." She pulled the door halfway closed. 6 attackers had entered, 4 down. 2 left, plus however many outside. Standard contract team, 8 to 10 operators. 4 to 6 still active. Not good odds, but she'd worked with worse. What were they after? ICU, 2nd floor. A specific patient. She pulled up the patient roster. 4 names. 3 she recognized. Marines, combat injuries, classified but not high value. The fourth made her stop. Room 12. Captain Robert Hendricks, U.S. Marine Corps. Admitted 6 hours ago, gunshot wounds from classified Syria operation. Status: critical but stable. Security clearance: TSSCI. Debriefing pending. Hendricks wasn't just a patient, he was a witness. Someone wanted him dead before he could talk. She turned to Vega. Room 12. Who's the patient? Captain Hendricks. Brought in this afternoon, gunshot wounds. Unconscious since arrival. Anyone visit besides medical? Not that I know of. Maya. Moved to room 12. Knocked once, opened the door. Haynes sat on the floor in the corner, red-rimmed eyes. They said they just wanted his location. Pay off my debts, no one gets hurt. I didn't know, shut up! Maya moved to the bed. Hendricks unconscious. Intubated. Hooked to machines. Multiple gunshot wounds. Surgery successful. Still critical. Completely defenseless. How many did you tell? Just one guy. Said he was private security. $10,000 for Hendricks' room number and duty roster. When? 2 days ago. 2 days. Time to plan, Scout. Assemble a team. An execution. Haynes made it possible. Stay here. Lock the door. If anyone comes through besides me or MPs, you hide. Haynes nodded, pale. Maya left. Heard the lock click. Vega was still at the station. Maybe they pulled out? They didn't. Maya moved to the window. The black sedan still there. 2 more vehicles now. A van and SUV, blacked out windows. Reinforcements or extraction, movement near the service. Entrance. 2 figures in tactical gear moving west. Flanking, going for the service stairwell. She keyed her radio. 3 clicks, no response. Her contact was down or compromised. She was alone. They're coming up west stairs. Get Chen. Fall back to ICU. Entrance. Set up crossfire. Vega moved immediately. He grabbed Chen, repositioned both sides of the ICU entrance, Vega with scar, Chen with extinguisher and a scalpel from the crash cart. Improvised, but better than nothing. Maya stayed mid-corridor. 10 rounds left in the SIG, 2 spare mags. The scar half empty, maybe 15 rounds. Not enough for sustained fight. End this fast. The service door opened. Slow, controlled, smart. Cautious now. Maya raised her SIG. Flashlight beam swept through red emergency lighting. She didn't fire. Let them commit. 2 attackers entered. Staggered column. Lead man scanning. Second covering rear. Moving toward ICU, not seeing Maya in shadows 10 meters behind. She stepped out, fired. 2 rounds center mass. Rear man dropped. Lead man spun. Maya already moving. She closed distance, struck his rifle aside, drove her SIG butt into his temple. He went down hard. 3 left, maybe 4. She zip-tied the unconscious man, grabbed. His rifle, magazine full, 30 rounds, better. Vega stared at her, awe and fear mixed. How are you doing this? Maya didn't answer. Listening. The hospital quiet again. No gunfire. No movement. Just monitors and ventilators. Too quiet. They should have pressed the attack. Unless... She ran to the main stairwell, yanked the door open. Empty. But she heard something below. Voices. Then faint but unmistakable, a drill. They weren't coming up the stairs. They were going around. Through the walls. Maya ran back. There, breaching exterior wall, probably near room 12. Vega, Chen, inside ICU, cover the door. Anyone comes through, fire. What about you? I'm going to stop them. She heard the drill clearer now. Outside wall past room 12. Cutting through. Fast. Maybe 60 seconds. She pounded on the door. Haynes! Open up! Gray-faced Haynes appeared. What's happening? They're coming through the wall. Help me move the captain. He's intubated. Now Haynes. They moved into the room. Maya disconnected monitors, grabbed the portable ventilator. Haynes took the IV pole. Together they wheeled Hendricks toward the ICU. Behind them, the drill stopped, metal being pried away. They were through. Maya shoved the bed through the ICU. Entrance, turned back, raised her rifle. 30 seconds later, the wall near room 12 exploded inward. Battering ram. 2 attackers came through, rifles raised, scanning for the target. They found Maya instead. She fired, controlled bursts. 3, 4, 5 rounds. Both went down. One didn't move, the other tried crawling back. Maya put another round in him. He stopped. Silence. Maya stayed in position, weapon raised, breathing steady. Waited. No more movement. Counted to 30. Lowered her rifle. Behind her, Vega spoke quietly. "Who the hell are you?" Maya turned, both Marines staring, not with fear, recognition, respect. "I'm Lieutenant Torres, Navy SEAL, Special Operations Medic. Right now, I'm the only thing standing between you and whoever's paying for this hit." Vega's mouth opened, closed. He looked at Chen. Chen looked back. Vega nodded slowly. "What do you need us to do, ma'am?" Maya checked her rifle. 10 rounds left. Looked at the hole, then the Marines. "We hold this floor. No one gets to Hendricks. No one gets past us. Understood?" "Yes, ma'am." Maya turned back to the corridor. Outside, sirens. Distant, but getting closer. Military police, reinforcements, help coming, but not here yet, and hostiles still in the building. She moved to the hole, looked through. In the parking lot, van doors, open, 2 more figures in tactical gear climbing out. They saw her, raised rifles. Maya ducked as rounds punched through the wall. She returned fire, forcing them to cover, grabbed a crash cart, shoved it in front of the hole. Not a barrier. An obstacle. Slow them down. How long until reinforcements? 5 minutes, maybe less. Then we hold for 5 minutes. Vega gripped the scar tighter. We hold. Maya moved to the ICU entrance. Hendricks inside, still unconscious, still alive. Haynes on the floor, head in hands. Other patients awake, eyes wide but silent. Maya stood in the doorway, rifle raised, eyes on corridor. Her shoulder bleeding. She'd taken a graze in the last exchange. Hadn't noticed until now. Pain distant. Manageable. She'd had worse. Behind her, Vega spoke quietly. "You've been here 3 weeks and no one knew." That was the point. Why didn't you say something? Because someone on this staff was selling information. I needed to find out who. And did you? Maya glanced at Haynes, still on the floor, silent. Yeah, I did. Vega followed her gaze, jaw tightened. Son of a bitch, Maya turned back. Sirens louder now, maybe 2 minutes out. She could hold for 2 minutes. She'd held for longer in worse places. She steadied her rifle. Outside, attackers regrouping. She could hear shouting, one more push, all they had left. And if Maya had learned anything in 6 years as a SEAL, it was this. The last push was always the hardest and the most important. She waited. And when they came, she was ready. The attackers didn't come through the wall. They came up the main stairwell, multiple contacts, moving fast, done being cautious, committing everything. Maya positioned herself at the corner intersection, knelt down, braced her rifle, controlled breathing. Behind her, Vega inside the ICU doorway, weapon aimed down corridor. Chen beside him, extinguisher raised, face pale but determined. The stairwell door crashed open. 3 attackers burst through in tight stack, rifles up. Lead man scanned right, toward Maya. She fired first. 3-round burst center mass. Second attacker swung toward her, but she'd shifted position. Rolled left, came up on one knee, fired. Again. 2 rounds. He dropped. The third made a choice. Sprinted down the corridor toward ICU, toward the target. Toward Hendricks. Maya pivoted, fired, but he was zigzagging. Her round sparked off walls. 10 meters. 5. Vega stepped into the corridor, opened fire. The scar roared, sustained burst chewing up floor and walls. The attacker dove into a doorway, returning fire. Vega ducked back, breathing hard. Attacker pinned but not down, too close. Maya moved up, staying low, using crash carts and gurneys as cover. She could see his position, room 9, door half open. Reloading. Maybe 3 seconds. She sprinted forward, closed distance, kicked the door in, still slamming magazine into rifle. Maya didn't give him time, struck him across the jaw with her rifle butt, drove her knee into his ribs. He dropped the weapon, tried to grapple. Big mistake. Maya twisted out of his grip, got behind him, rear naked choke. He struggled 5 seconds, went limp. She dropped him, grabbed his rifle, back in the corridor, her rifle nearly empty. She ejected the magazine, 3 rounds, swapped for a full, one from the unconscious attacker's vest. 30 rounds, better, movement behind her. She spun, rifle raised, Vega moving to her position. Clear, for now. Checked the stairwell. Still empty, sirens louder, maybe 90 seconds. How many did we drop? 7, maybe 8. Then at least 2 more, probably outside. Vega nodded, face streaked with sweat and dust, hands steady. What's the play? Maya looked toward the exterior wall hole. She could hear voices, low, tense, Russian, deciding whether to cut losses or make one more push. She knew which they'd choose. They'd come this far, lost this many, couldn't go back empty-handed. They're coming through the wall. Last option. We need to be ready. She moved to the ICU entrance, Chen still there, gripping the extinguisher, hands shaking but hadn't run. Maya respected that. Chen, get patients as far from exterior wall as possible, interior rooms if you can. What about Hendricks? He's on a ventilator. Leave him where he is. He's the bait. They're here for him. We use that. Chen hesitated, nodded, moved. Into ICU. Started waking patients, helping them out. One, a Marine with arm cast and chest bandages, looked at Maya. Who the hell are you? Someone keeping you alive. Now move. He didn't argue, limped toward interior corridor, supported by Chen. Other 2 followed. Within 60 seconds, ICU empty except for Hendricks, unconscious in the center, and Haynes pressed against the wall, silent and pale. Maya turned to Haynes. Get out. Go to basement. Lock yourself in a supply closet. When MPs arrive, tell them everything. They're going to court-martial me. Should have thought of that before you sold out a Marine. Now go. Before I change my mind about letting you leave. Haynes flinched, scrambled to his feet, ran. Maya watched him disappear. She didn't have time for him now. That would come later. She moved to the ICU entrance, checked her rifle. 27 rounds, 2 spare mags. SIG holstered at her hip, 8 rounds. Not enough for prolonged firefight, but enough to finish this. Vega positioned opposite side of doorway, scar raised. How do you want to play this? They'll breach. With explosives this time. Flashbang, maybe frag. We stay back, let them enter, cut them down in the fatal funnel. You've done this before. More times than I can count. Vega nodded, glanced at Hendricks, still unconscious. He must be pretty important. He is. He knows something. Something worth killing for. What? That's classified. Vega almost smiled. Right, of course. Drilling started again. Louder. Closer to ICU. Maya tracked the sound. Cutting a new entry, bigger, wider, enough for multiple attackers at once. She adjusted position, angling to cover the breach point. Vega did the same. Drilling stopped. Silence. Maya counted. 5, 10, 15. Then, metallic clink. Grenade. Flashbang. She turned away, closed eyes, covered ears. The explosion deafening through her hands, concussive blast of light and sound. Windows rattled, equipment shook. Silence again. Maya opened her eyes, vision blurred but clearing, turned back toward the wall, The breach twice the size, gaping hole with jagged edges. 2 attackers already through, rifles raised. Maya fired. 4 rounds. First dropped. Second took cover behind gurney. Vega opened fire opposite side, forcing the attacker pinned, but a third coming through, moving fast. He saw Maya, swung rifle toward her. She dove left behind crash cart as rounds tore through where she'd been. Cart exploded, supplies scattering, metal pinging. Maya rolled, came up on one knee, fired. 2 rounds. Third attacker staggered but didn't go down. Body armor. She adjusted aim, fired again. Headshot. He dropped. Second attacker broke cover. Charged toward Hendricks, weapon raised. Vega fired but angle wrong. Rounds hit wall behind. Maya didn't have clear shot. Attacker 3 meters from Hendricks. 2. 1. Maya dropped rifle, drew SIG, fired on the move. 4 rounds. 2 hit attacker in the side, below plate carrier. He stumbled, turned toward her, raised rifle. Maya closed distance, tackled him before. He could fire. Hit the ground hard. Attacker tried bringing rifle around. Maya trapped the barrel, drove elbow into his face. Once. Twice. He went limp. Maya stood, breathing hard, shoulder bleeding more heavily. Graze reopened during tackle. She ignored it, moved to the breach, looked through. Outside, parking lot. Empty. No more attackers, no movement. Either pulled back or that was all. She turned to Vega. Clear? Vega checked main corridor. Clear. Maya nodded. Moved to Hendricks, checked vitals. Still stable, still breathing, still alive. One breath of relief. Then heard sirens stop. Engines cutting off, doors slamming, shouted commands. Cavalry arrived. Maya moved to window. Military police vehicles, 6, surrounded the building. Operators in full tactical gear dismounting, weapons raised, coordinated entry, flash of federal badges, NCIS, her people. She stepped back, lowered weapon, over. She'd held the line, patient secure, threat neutralized. She'd done her job. Behind her, Vega spoke quietly. They're going to want to know what happened. I know. They're going to want to know who you are. Maya turned to face him, scrubs torn and blood-stained, hair loose in dark strands. She looked like she'd been through war. Because she had. Then I'll tell them. Footsteps pounded up stairwell, fast, professional. Maya set rifle down, raised hands. 5-man team burst into corridor, weapons trained. Lead operator, Navy Master-at-Arms with NCIS vest, swept rifle across the scene. Bodies, blood, damage. Took it all in, fixed eyes on Maya. Identify yourself. Lieutenant Maya Torres, United States Navy, service number 6784392, undercover. Operator assigned to this facility. Master-at-Arms lowered weapon slightly. Keyed radio. Command, Entry Team 1. We have Lieutenant Torres, secure, multiple hostile casualties, requesting medical and investigative support ICU, 2nd floor. Voice crackled back. Copy. Stand by for senior agent. Master-at-Arms looked at Maya. You hurt? Graze? Shoulder. I'm fine. You sure as hell don't look fine. Moved into ICU, checked Hendricks. Patient stable. Target secure. Turned back. How many hostiles? 8 confirmed down. 2 more possible. Exterior. Vehicle occupants unaccounted for. Master-at-Arms nodded, relayed information. Looked at Vega holding Scar, Chen with extinguisher. You two, identify Lance Corporal Vega, USMC, Private First Class Chen, USMC, drop weapons. Slowly. They complied. NCIS team moved through corridor, clearing rooms, securing scene. 2 minutes. Floor locked down. Medical personnel arrived, treating wounded, including Maya. Corpsman finally looked at her shoulder. Graze shallow but messy. Cleaned it, pressure bandage, told her she needed stitches. She told him later. Man in suit appeared. Late 40s, gray hair, federal badge. Special Agent Marcus Dennison, NCIS. Maya's handler. Looked at her. Bodies. Back at her. Jesus, Torres, you don't do anything small. They brought 8 contractors to kill 1 patient. I didn't have a choice. I know. Moved closer, lowering voice. Haynes ran. Basement. He'll talk. Good. We'll pick him up. Glanced at Hendricks. Captain's debriefing critical. Whatever he knows worth coordinated hit team. Need to move him to secure facility. Agreed. Dennison studied her face. You held this floor alone for, 10 minutes? 12. And I wasn't alone. Nodded toward Vega and Chen. They held the line with me. Dennison looked at the 2 Marines, sitting against wall, exhausted, still processing what they'd survived. I'll make sure that goes in my report. Good. Maya straightened, wincing as shoulder pulled. What happens now? Now we clean up. Debrief. Figure out who wanted Hendricks dead and why. Paused. Your cover's blown. Everyone on this staff will know who you are by morning. I know. That's going to make the rest of this assignment difficult. Maya looked down corridor. At bodies. Blood. Marines who'd fought beside her without hesitation once they knew who she was. Assignments over. I found the leak. Hendricks is secure. Nothing left to protect here. Dennison nodded. All right. We'll extract you tonight, get you debriefed and reassigned. No. Dennison frowned. No? Maya looked at him. I'm staying, at least until Hendricks is stable enough to transfer. These Marines deserve to know their hospital is secure, and I'm not leaving until it is. Dennison studied her for a long moment, nodded. All right, Lieutenant. You've earned that. 24 hours. Then we pull you. 24 hours. Dennison turned, walked back toward stairwell, already speaking into radio. NCIS team continued working scene. Maya stood in ICU doorway, watched them work. Body ached, shoulder throbbed. Hands still stained with blood, some hers, some not, but Hendricks was alive. Marines were safe. Threat ended. She'd done her job. That was all that mattered. Vega approached slowly. Ma'am? Maya turned. Yeah? Thank you. Voice quiet, sincere. For staying, for fighting. We wouldn't have made it without you. Maya looked at him, at Chen behind him. 2 Marines thrown into firefight with no warning, no preparation, and they'd held their ground, trusted her, followed her, fought beside her. You did fine, both of you. You held when it mattered. That's what being a Marine is. Vega nodded, hesitated. Why didn't you tell us? Before tonight? Maya was silent for a moment. Because I needed people to underestimate me. That's how you catch the ones who think they're safe. You let them think you're nobody, and then when it counts, you show them they were wrong. Vega almost smiled. They were definitely wrong. Maya didn't smile back, just nodded. Get some rest, Corporal. It's been a long night. Vega and Chen walked away, disappearing toward temporary triage. Maya stood alone in ICU doorway, watching controlled chaos. Hospital secure, mission complete. But something inside felt heavy. Tired. Not physically. That would pass. Emotionally, she'd spent 3 weeks being invisible. Dismissed. Underestimated. And tonight forced to prove who she really was. Part of her wanted that. Validation. Recognition. But another part wanted to stay hidden. Stay small. Stay safe from weight of command and expectation. Now that was gone. Everyone knew. Tomorrow, when sun came up, she'd be Lieutenant Torres again. Not invisible nurse. Not rookie who didn't belong. The SEAL. The operator. The one who'd held. The line when no one else could. She wasn't sure which version of herself she preferred anymore. Maya woke to helicopter sound. Still sitting in chair beside Hendricks's bed. Morning light filtering through ICU windows. Pale, cold, just after dawn. Checked her watch. 0540. She'd slept 2 hours. Longest uninterrupted sleep in 3 weeks. Shoulder ached. Body stiff. Stood slowly, stretching knots. Hendricks still unconscious, vitals steady. Ventilator hummed. Outside ICU voices. Low, professional. NCIS team still working scene. Maya walked to window. Parking lot filled with vehicles. Federal. Sedans. Military police trucks. Mobile command unit. Black sedan and van cordoned with yellow tape, surrounded by investigators. 2 body bags loaded into medical examiner's van. 6 more lined near entrance. 8 total, all accounted for. Helicopter descending toward helipad. Unmarked, military grade, secure transport for Hendricks, moving him out, smart. This hospital, compromised. Even with leak plugged, not safe anymore. ICU door opened. Dennison walked in, carrying 2 coffees, handed her one. You look like hell, Torres. Thanks. Took coffee, drank, bad, burnt, bitter, hours old. Drank anyway. Dennison leaned against door frame. We found Haynes, storage closet in basement, exactly where you said. He's talking. Gave us names, dates, accounts. Whole operation. Who? Hired him? Russian intelligence contractor, PMC with ties to GRU. They wanted Hendricks dead because of what he saw in Syria. Witnessed meeting between Russian general and high-ranking Syrian official, someone we thought was on our side. If Hendricks' testimony goes public, compromises 3 years' intelligence work in the region. Maya nodded. Made sense. Wars fought with secrets. Hendricks stumbled onto one worth killing for. What happens to Haynes? Court-martial, dishonorable, discharge. Federal charges for espionage and conspiracy to commit murder. Looking at 30 years minimum. Paused. Says he didn't think anyone would get hurt. Thought they'd extract Hendricks quietly. He's an idiot. He's a traitor. Dennison's voice cold. But he's our traitor now. Giving us everything to roll up the network that recruited him. Maya looked out window. Helicopter had landed. Medical team moving toward building with transport gurney. When are you moving Hendricks? Within the hour. Taking him to Walter Reed. Full security detail. He'll be awake in day or 2, then debrief properly. Studied her. You did? Good work, Torres. Stopped assassination. Protected patients. Held off professional hit team with 2 Marines and fire extinguisher. That's going in after-action report. With commendations. Maya didn't respond. Didn't care about commendations. Cared about job. And job was done. Dennison sensed her mood. Finished coffee, tossed cup. Marines want to talk to you. Vega and Chen. Been asking since they got out of medical. Are they okay? Bruises, minor lacerations, nothing serious. Tougher than they look. Smiled slightly. Think you walk on water, by the way. Vega told investigators you're best operator he's ever seen. Coming from Marine, that's high praise. Maya almost smiled. Almost. Where are they? Waiting room, 2nd floor. Maya nodded. Finished coffee, set cup down. Looked at Hendricks one last time. Still unconscious, still breathing, still alive. Make sure he gets to Walter Reed safely. We will. Dennison straightened. What about you? Ready to extract? Maya didn't answer right away. Looked around ICU, at equipment, monitors, hospital that had been her cover 3 weeks. She'd hated it. The dismissal, underestimation, constant weight of pretending to be someone she wasn't. But she'd also done something here. Something that mattered. Saved lives. Protected people who couldn't protect themselves. That was the mission. Always the mission. Give me 30 minutes. I need to finish something first. Dennison nodded. 30 minutes, then wheels up. He left. Maya stood alone in ICU for a moment longer, walked out into corridor. Hospital different now. Emergency lighting replaced by normal fluorescence. Bodies gone. Blood cleaned up. But damage still visible. Bullet holes in walls, shattered glass, gaping hole where attackers breached. Would take weeks to repair. Months, maybe. But it was standing. Everyone inside alive. That counted for something. Maya walked to waiting room. Vega and Chen sitting on plastic chairs near window, both exhausted but alert. When they saw her, stood immediately. Vega's arm in fresh sling. Chen had bandage on forehead. Both looked at her with something Maya hadn't seen in 3 weeks. "Respect, ma'am," Vega said. "At ease. Sit down. You've earned it." They sat. Maya pulled up chair across from them. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Chen broke silence. "We heard you're leaving. Yeah. Today. Where are you going?" "Classified." Chen nodded. Expected that answer. "Are you coming back?" Maya shook her head. "No. My assignment here is over." Vega leaned forward. "Can I ask you something, ma'am?" "Go ahead. Why didn't you tell us? Before last night. You let us treat you like you were nobody. Why?" Maya looked at him. At his honest, open face. At the question she'd known was coming. "Because I needed to be nobody. That's how undercover work functions. You become invisible. Let people dismiss you. While they're not paying attention, you watch. Listen. Find the cracks in the system." Paused. "If I'd walked in here as SEAL, everyone would have been on best behavior. I never would have found Haynes, and Hendricks would be dead." Vega nodded slowly. "So you let us think you were incompetent. I let you think what you needed to think. That must have been hard." Maya didn't answer. It had been hard. Harder than expected. Not physical work, that was easy. But constant dismissal, casual disrespect. Weight of being unseen. That had worn on her in ways she hadn't anticipated, but it had been necessary, and necessary didn't have to be easy. Chen spoke up. "For what it's worth, ma'am, we were wrong. About you, about everything." "I know, but you figured it out when it mattered. That's what counts." Vega straightened in chair. "Ma'am, I just want to say, if I'm ever in fight again, I want you on my side. You held that floor like it was Fallujah. I've never seen anything like it." Maya looked at him, at both of them. 2 young Marines thrown into hell and come out the other side. They'd trusted her, followed her, fought beside her without hesitation. That meant something. More than commendations or after-action reports. It meant she'd done her job right. "You held it with me. Don't forget that. You didn't run, didn't freeze. You stood your ground and fought. That's what being Marine is. That's what being warrior is. I'm proud to have served with you." Vega's throat worked. He nodded, not trusting himself to speak. Chen looked down at hands, jaw tight. Maya stood. "Take care of yourselves. Heal up. When you get back to your units, remember what you learned last night. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one nobody's paying attention to." She turned to leave. Vega stood quickly. "Ma'am?" Maya stopped, looked back. Vega came to attention, saluted. Chen stood, did the same. Crisp, formal, the kind of salute you gave to someone who'd earned it. Maya hesitated for just a moment, then returned it. Slowly, precisely. Final acknowledgement between warriors. She dropped her hand, walked away. Behind her, heard Vega and Chen sit back down. She didn't look back. Nothing left to say. Maya walked through hospital corridors one last time. Past nurses and doctors, military police and federal agents. Some recognized her now. Some stared. She kept head down, kept walking. Reached staff break room. Retrieved. Personal belongings from locker. Change of clothes, phone, car keys. Changed out of blood-stained scrubs into civilian clothes. Jeans, dark hoodie, running shoes. Looked at herself in mirror. Without scrubs, without ID badge, she looked like anyone else. Invisible again. Good. Closed locker, left break room. Took stairs to first floor, walked toward main entrance. Lobby still a mess. Investigators everywhere, evidence markers, shattered glass. navigated through without stopping. Outside, morning air cold and clean. Took breath, felt tension in chest ease slightly. Dennison waiting by black SUV near east. Parking lot. Saw her, opened rear door. Ready? Maya looked back at hospital, at buildings she'd protected, at people inside who'd never know full story of what happened. They'd hear pieces, rumors, exaggerations, but they'd never know what it felt like to stand in that corridor, outnumbered and outgunned, and choose to hold the line anyway. That was fine. She didn't need them to know. Yeah, I'm ready. She climbed into SUV. Dennison got in front passenger seat. Driver, another NCIS agent, pulled out of parking lot, headed toward main gate. Maya watched hospital recede inside mirror. Smaller, distant. Gone. Dennison turned in seat. You did good work, Torres. Really. Navy's lucky to have you. Maya didn't respond. Just looked out window at passing landscape. Trees, roads, civilian cars heading to work, people living normal lives, oblivious to violence that had unfolded, mile away. That was the job. Keeping chaos contained, keeping darkness at bay so everyone else could sleep at night. Dennison sensed she didn't want to talk, turned back around, left her alone. SUV drove in silence 20 minutes, heading toward airfield where transport plane waited. Maya's next assignment already queued up. Another undercover operation, another identity, another mission where she'd have to become invisible and let people underestimate her. She was tired. Not physically. That would pass. But emotionally. The kind of tired that came from carrying weight of other people's ignorance and arrogance without being able to say anything. The kind of tired that came from being someone else for so long you started to forget who you really were. But she'd do it again, because that was the job. And the job mattered. SUV pulled onto airfield. Transport plane waiting, engines already. Running. Dennison got out, opened Maya's door. She stepped out, shouldering small bag. Dennison extended hand. Good luck, Lieutenant. Stay safe. Maya shook his hand. You too. She walked toward plane. Crew chief waiting at ramp. He saluted. Maya returned it. Climbed aboard. Interior sparse, bench seats, cargo netting, few other personnel heading to different assignments. Found seat near back, sat down. Crew chief secured ramp, gave signal. Engines roared. Plane began to taxi. Maya closed eyes, leaned head back against bulkhead. In few hours, she'd land at another base, receive another briefing, become another person. Cycle would start again. And she'd be invisible again. Dismissed, underestimated, unseen. But she'd be watching, always watching. And when the moment came, when lives were on the line and no one else could hold the ground, she'd be ready. Because that's what Lieutenant Maya Torres did. That's who she was. Not rookie nurse, not invisible operator, the quiet professional who did the job no one else could do. And when it was over, she walked away. No spotlight, no glory, just the mission. Always the mission. Plane lifted off. Maya felt familiar sensation of ascent, of leaving one place behind and heading toward next. Opened eyes, looked out small window. Below, city was waking up. Cars on highways, lights in windows, life continuing, normal, safe, because someone had held the line. Maya allowed herself small, tired smile, then closed eyes again, let exhaustion take her. She slept the dreamless sleep of someone who'd done everything right and paid the price for it. And when she woke, she'd be ready to do it all over again. That was the job. And she was good at it. 3 months later, a package arrived at Lieutenant Maya Torres's current duty station. Small box, unmarked except for military routing code. Inside was folded letter and small wooden plaque. The letter was from Lance Corporal. Vega. Short, handwritten, the kind of note Marines sent when they didn't know how else to say thank you. It read, "Ma'am, Chen and I wanted you to have this. We had it made from the wood they replaced in the ICU after the repairs. Figured you earned it more than anyone." We're back with our units now, doing good, staying sharp every time we're in tough spot. We remember what you taught us that night, about holding the line, about being underestimated, about doing the job even when no one's watching. Thank you for keeping us alive. Thank you for showing us what a real warrior looks like. Semper Fi, Vega, and Chen Maya set the letter down, looked at the plaque. Simple, clean, engraved with 3 lines, ICU, second floor the line held, 0200, 0600 below that, 3 names, LT Maya Torres, USN LCPL Vega, USMC PFC Chen, USMC Maya ran fingers over engraving. She didn't display awards, didn't keep trophies. But this was different. This was reminder, not of violence or chaos, but of the choice. The choice to stand when everyone else ran. The choice to fight when no one thought you could. The choice to be more than what they saw. She set plaque on small desk in her quarters. It sat there, quiet and unassuming, just like her, and that was exactly how she liked it.